Juan, what's up? This your boy. Oh, my bad. This your podcast.
Hey, man,
this
you must think
mine.
you on the radio still. What's up, Juggie?
Man, chilling, man. Loving
doing?
what you're doing around here.
Thanks,
Shout out to
man.
Elation.
Thank you, man. It's good to have you here. It's good to talk, man.
Yes, indeed.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to go through the whole interviews. Everybody knows where you're from. We don't have to do all that stuff. But let's talk about, man, because growing up listening to you on Q93 and growing up, you know, you were kind of the culture around here. You like that we all looked up to where you were pushing music, you know, to us. You were the one giving us the plate.
That's what they
so,
say.
you know, like how did that all come about, man? Because it's got to be crazy to have that much grasp on the city.
So my story, excuse me, actually goes back to just being a kid from the Ninth Ward. Went to McDonald 35, went to all Catholic schools before that, and kind of, got in the marching band and, loved music. And then one of my best friends, he wound up producing for a label called Righteous Records. They had a group called the Bad Fellas. So my mom had the little video camera. So I would bring the camera wherever we went, and I would film the shows. And a guy goes by the name of Swab Bob. He was Master P CFO at the time. And rest in peace. So just being around all these older guys, I was able to soak up game and kind of pay attention and watch things. They had a clothing line called Foosh Gear. So from James Tip Dickinson to Bobby Swab, Bob Sardi, Mark Sublade, Dwayne Delahoo. It was a lot of older guys that I was able to be around. So my friend Kareem, he was the producer, and he was also a member of the group. So, hitting the road, going to do the shows, and they just sort of hustling me to where the clothing line kind of slowed down, the record label kind of slowed down. So one of the guys, Dwayne Delahoo, he said, hey, my cousin just started this TV show. He's been asking me to come over there. He's like, Dwayne didn't have his car at the time. I had my car. So he's like, let's go. So we get in the car, we go. And this particular day, it was, I think it was like a Q93 Fan Fest. So like one of the radio stations had something in the park. So we go, and I met a lot of celebrities that day. I'm like, man. So it just evolved to me kind of gripping, holding wires, holding crates, making runs, being at the office. I started doing like
being around. Sometimes I understand just being around can make you a whole career.
And that was Fat and all that. So shout out to Chris Roberts. He took a liking to me. And one day he said, you ever thought about being on TV? I'm like, hell no. He's like, man, everybody like you. You have a great personality. He's like, think about it. So I'm like, oh, whatever. So we had Teen Summit. Never forget, it was Jay-Z there. I think it was Bow Wow, Cash Money. Everybody was there. And me and the camera guy sitting in the back in the locker room. And then I said, hey, let's do something funny. He's like, what you thinking? So I had just got my first grill with diamonds in it. Was my name. And I said, I'm going to hide inside this locker and act like I snuck in. And I opened the door, and I'm like, hey, everybody, this is your boy Juggie. I'm the new kid on the block. I snuck in the Teen Summit. I saw Jay-Z, and I just kind of like teased everybody that they were going to see on the show. And that was it. So some days passed, and Chris called me. He's like, hey, he said, I saw what y'all did. He said, I liked it. I'm going to use it. I'm like, huh? So he puts it on TV, and then once it airs, his sister Myrna calls him. She's like, where you at? Where your little ass at? I'm like, man. She's like, get to the office. So I get there, and there's tons of voice messages on the answering service. Who the new hot boy is? Who that is? Like all these little girls like going crazy. And after that,
It just gave you an immediate following,
gave
huh?
me immediate. Back then, we didn't have Instagram.
No,
so my followers would have shot up. I done went viral right quick.
Right.
But he's like, I think you're ready. And I'm like, huh? How about the next day, Mystical was in town. He's like, I want you to interview Mystical. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, I'm panicking. So we go meet him. And I mean, I knew him,
Right.
but I never hosted a TV show, right?
Right.
So
Well, Mike was different back then too, huh?
Oh man, animated.
Yeah.
You got your grill, and I'm like, but I made it through it. But I had a crutch, and my crutch was always, so how you like New Orleans? If I couldn't think of something, that was the question I ran to, right? So the next one, he's like, we're going to Snoop Lalo video shoot in Atlanta. Hype Williams is producing it. Everybody's going to be there.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. He's like, and you the only pros we got. I'm like, what? So we fly to Atlanta. And I never forget it. You know, I mean, I was cool with C Murder, Silk, Snoop, P. You know, I knew the whole crew. Soulja Slim, that was all family to me. It was when I had to interview Hype Williams. And I'm like, wow. And I'm talking to him. And I say, so how you like New Orleans? He's like, New Orleans? He's like, I love New Orleans. But we're in Atlanta. Right. So I'm like, damn. But, you know, it just kept throwing me in the fire. And my system that I evolved to was going back to high school and thinking about how I wrote an English paper. How I had an introduction, a thesis, a body, a conclusion. And I'm like, damn, I could start asking interviews like that.
Right.
Introduction is, I'm an intro to
crazy,
artists,
the little things
them.
in school that you pick up.
Man, shout out to McDonald 35.
Right, like, I mean, damn, right?
And then I would talk about where you came from, you know, what are you doing now? What do you see in your future? And clothes, and it got easier.
Right.
Because I don't even need to know nothing about you to set it up.
To set it up right there. Right.
And I'm actually learning as we go. And I'm asking the questions that I would, and man, it just turned into something that became second nature. And then when Hurricane Katrina hit, I was in Baton Rouge and I was somewhere else, and I'll never forget it. My friend, he owns an engineering firm, so he gave me passes to get in the city. So I'm bringing everybody in the city, going to check on their stuff, coming back. And I was in the city one day, and somebody saw me. He says, man, what the hell are you doing down here? I said, huh? He said, man, you supposed to be out there giving them kids hope, talking to them, letting them know they're going to come home. And I'm like, wow. And I had, you know, magazines had been hitting me up trying to interview me after the
You didn't realize how much power you had made.
I wasn't trying to even talk to nobody. I was just, you know, I'm like,
but it was power, bro. Like, it was power. Like,
I didn't even realize it.
There wasn't anything that y'all didn't dictate at that moment in the city.
Bro, so I'm like, damn, he's right. So I started doing interviews. I started going talk to kids. I started, you know, we started doing the show again. And I got a call from the radio station. It was like, hey, how do you come see me? So I'm like, all right. I get to the radio station. It's like, everybody knows you. You like family. I want to hire you, sign radio. I'm like, wait, what? I never did radio before. I'm not trying. And I literally started. They threw me in there.
Just
I'm leaving the mic hot. I'm leaving buttons off. And again, trial and error. Self-taught to, you know, do the radio.
Right.
So it was like everything was almost like a path that was just designed for me. And I just had to follow.
And that's something that a lot of people don't know how to pay attention to. You know, like, because, and I'll be honest with you, when I got into music is when I started to realize that, oh, there is somebody else possibly orchestrating all of this because I can't.
Oh man, shout out to that man.
The guy, like, there's no way I lined all this up. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, I feel like music truly shows you those paths that are aligned for you, and you don't even understand it. And I tell people a lot of times, you know, like they ask me how to get started on things, and I say, even if you don't understand it, say yes. Mm-hmm. Because in the real world, especially in the world we live in now, you could go figure it out. If you have any thought process and want to do, you could figure things out. So even if it's not something that you knew you could do or you wanted to do, but it's an opportunity, take that. And run with it. Because you never know where it's going to turn into, you know?
Nah, you're right. You're right. Like I said, people ask me, how did you start? And I'm like,
just started.
What school you went to? How you?
Right.
You know, and like I said, I'm thankful to God that, you know, I've been blessed with this path that I'm on, and you know, working at the radio station and going back and forth to LA. Well, actually, I don't know if people know. Like, well, people know. You know, I was with Cash Money. I was with No Limit. I'm friends with Birdman, and I'm friends with P. And you know, I would go out of town with Birdman, and you know, I slept at his house.
Right.
That's my dogs to today. And then, you know, he'd talk to me and give me knowledge, and then P would call me, and he'd talk to me and give me knowledge. I fly out there by him, and I'm like, man, like, you know, not even realizing in the moment, like, brother, you realize what you're doing or how, you know,
the two biggest
situation you're in?
out of maybe not only just out of the South, but out of, you know, the entire music industry are looking to you. They you know, and I mean, shout out to P for, you know, stealing you away from us, but, you know, he definitely knew what he was doing.
Nah, you're right. And again, he made me leave.
Right.
So he's like, "What you doing?"
What was that phone call like? Because
this is in person.
This was in person.
He's like, "What you doing?" Because I'm just popping up in LA and I'm disappearing. I'm going back home doing the radio. I'm popping. He's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Shit, I'm the man." I'm like, "Shit, I'm on the radio. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm coming out here with you. I'm doing this." He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's all you want?" And instantly my reaction was, hell no, that ain't all I want. What you talking about? He's like, shoot, I can't tell. And it was like a jab, like, damn, like, what are you doing? Or, you know, have you reached your ceiling in New Orleans?
Right.
Like, where do you see yourself if you keep doing this in the next 5 years, right?
P has a way of grounding you, for sure, in his words. He has a way to bring everything to light.
So I'm like, damn. So I went to the station, I had a talk, and it was a conversation about syndicating the show I created, Social Shakedown. And I'm like, that would make it make more sense because I would make more money and it would be bigger and I could still do. And it just was a lot of friction, a lot of, it just wasn't right? It just, so I'm like, I don't want to just make radio my life. I don't want this to be my life. And sometimes they say, I feel like you've outgrown the station. You should resign. I'm like, that's like quitting.
Right.
I'm not a quitter. I'm not about to resign. And she was like, you about to resign. And I'm like, and there it is again.
And there it
like
is.
Somebody's guiding my you know, my plan, my future.
Right.
And next thing you know, I'm moving to LA and I don't know what I'm coming out here for. I don't know what I'm about to do. And I'm like, damn, am I gonna start on a TV show? We gonna like what you know? I'm like, I'm not trying to just come out here and live off Master P. Like, I want to learn. I want to, you know, create my own opportunities, make some money or whatever. And one day we were riding, and we went to this company, and we walk in, it's all white people, and I'm Googling the company while I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, I'm like, man, this company responsible for all of the music placement and all of the top shows on TV right now. I'm like, damn, this This the real deal. So we get up and we go walk in the office where the people that own the company were at. And P walks in and he says, "Can I curse?" He says, "The fuck y'all doing in here?" And I'm like, "What?" And they start, but like the people that work for these people are like, they shook because they're like, this man talking to them like this, like, and I'm the same way. I'm like, damn, P, who these people are? And fast forward to when the guy walks out, one of the people like, Master P, how do you know him? And he's like, I gave him his first job. And I'm like, wow. And bro, like as I traveled, everybody have a Master P story.
Right.
Everybody who has met P learned something from him. You know, he might have gave him some advice that might have took them to another level.
Right.
You know, he might have did something for him. I mean, and everybody have a positive, you know, experience or you know, memory with this man.
Right.
And I'm like, damn. And we get in the car. I'm like, damn, P, them people the real deal. He like, yeah. And then he said something. I said, man, I could. He's like, you think I don't think you can handle it? He said, if I ain't think that, I wouldn't have you with me. He said, man, when I'm finished with you, you're gonna be the most dangerous man in the industry. And that from that day, I'm like, I got it. Now I know what I'm here for. Now I know what I'm doing. Like, let me pay attention, study, learn, and just recreate myself.
Right.
And that's what the past 9-10 years have been. Just shadowing him every day, thinking like him. I could probably answer what I think he would do or say.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, you definitely understand him for sure. You definitely understand him. That's funny, man, because it's not easy dynamics, man. There's a lot of things going on that you got to deal with every day.
Method to the madness, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. But that's awesome. But let's talk a little bit about the No Limit reunion tour a little bit. We, you know, most people don't know, but I was a big,
one of the first.
I was a big integral part of that situation.
Yeah.
So it was a hard sell. Nobody had been on the stage together for a long time.
Last time was Essence Fest. Probably, what year was that? At least 7 years now, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And I had the opportunity of putting that together.
Right.
And I was around back then, but I wasn't around back then.
Right.
I was this little kid, you know. But P is like, you sure you want to do this? Because he had to, the obligation was to bring 3 other artists with him.
Right.
And I'm like, P, we could make it the reunion like, I think Bad Boy had did it. Somebody had did it the year before. He was like, so I start reaching out to everybody, finding everybody, putting it together. And then he'll have an idea, and he'll be like, we got to find this person. And I'm like, all right. Man, once I got all these people, I didn't realize it was going to be that many people. Because you got to realize it, No Limit was a lot
of people.
And we're in this hotel. You know, I'm covering all the rooms. Man, we make a quarter. I spent every dime. He was mad with me, but it was a learning experience because I really understood from that moment, when you do this, you're responsible for all these people. If somebody got a parking ticket or a boot on their car, they gonna come to me.
Right.
If somebody needed something to wear, they gonna come to me.
Right.
And I'm like, now I understand what P was feeling, what he went through, what he was trying to get me to. But he allowed me to have that learning lesson.
The struggles of being the top. There's no, you know,
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Because you don't realize, you know, something this small could be this big, or something this, you know, and you have to deal with it all.
Yeah.
You know, rehearsals, this, that, and I'm like, man, you know, but. Again, like it was a great learning experience, and we were able to connect with everybody again, and you know, get to that point. And I know, of course, the pandemic hurt us because it would have grown. But again, unless you have structure, you're just dealing with a lot of personalities.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the part where No Limit worked because the structure was the Colonel, Master P, and everybody just
Is
fall
everybody
in
else
line.
underneath? Yep.
But, now everybody's grown, everybody has their own thing going on to where it just made it a little different.
Yeah.
But he's still, Master P.
He's still the nucleus.
Yeah.
He's still what everything centers around.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate what you did to the city and what you did for the city, man. It was a great time growing up in the city, man.
Can we go back?
Can
I do it again?
Can we do it again? Because it felt like New Orleans was real back then, man. Right now is a little different, but
it's a lot different.
but no, man. Those times were amazing, and they were an integral part of my learning experience and coming up and appreciation that I have for music. So I want to just thank you for that,
I appreciate
because it was great to watch.
I'm thankful for everybody that I learned from, because and I think even if I don't meet at least one person that I've met, I'm different, right? So I have to give credit to everybody that I've ever been around, learned from. Even if it was somebody's mistake, I may have learned from their mistake,
Right.
So I don't make it, or somebody. So it's like man, I literally.
No, and you want to help people. I mean, you've helped me. You've helped me navigate through some of the stuff. Like, you don't mind that phone call. Say, hey, Juggie, what am I doing wrong? Like, you don't mind that phone call. I think P also has kind of prepared you for that, because there's a lot of shit you got to deal with on his side too.
So the difference with P is he knows his value and he's not gonna budge. And then with me, I think I was just willing to just give it away, right? And never kind of. And shout out to Roxy, because one day she came. At this time she's hosting 106 in Park. She's like, Jug. She's like, you get more free shit than I do, and I'm on national TV. She's like, you gotta stop doing so much stuff for free. She's like, everybody call you, depend on you. You gotta learn how to
make money out of that.
Yeah, you gotta, And she told me, a lot of people call me and say, man, you my people, like, look out for me. She like, well, if I'm your people, you should pay me more.
Right. You be looking out for me too. Right. Yeah. No,
I'm like, oh wow.
That. Like, it's got to be a back and forth transaction.
Yeah.
Well, before we end here real quick, I wanted to ask you, what's something about P that nobody knows that you can tell us?
He's a clown. If he warms up to you and comfortable around you, like, man, this man will tell stories all day. He'll laugh. He'll have you dying laughing all day. And a lot of people don't get to see that side of him, because you always on defense.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants something. Like, everybody is, trying to gain from something. It's like, he lived life in defense mode.
Right. But once he feels comfortable.
Yeah, he straight clown.
Opens up. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah. Well, what I'd like to ask everybody here at the end, what brings elation to you in your life? Elation is peak happiness. So what is that moment for you?
I think finally realizing that, how people make vision boards and stuff like that. So I never literally made a vision board, but I've watched people make vision boards, right? And I'm like, damn, if I did one, I know what my car would be. I know what this and that. And it's like, when it happens, you don't even realize it's happening.
Right.
But then when you think about it, you're like, damn, I really had my dream car.
Right.
I really did this, I really did that. Like, so just, I always wanted to be, the family man, have my stuff together, whatever. And then when I look, I'm like, damn, wait, I'm married?
Right.
I got kids, I got a house, I'm like, damn,
I did it.
I did it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, visualize it.
But I'm still not all the way there, and I probably never will be, because my goals are only gonna get
keep
bigger.
growing. Yeah.
And one thing I can say, even Birdman, right? P and Birdman. So these guys are super successful, have done everything. They've lived everyone's dreams. but they still get up and go to work every day, hustle, grind. I'm like, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let this dude outwork me.
Right.
And he done had hundreds and hundreds of millions, that made billions, but he's still getting up grinding. How can I not?
Right.
You know? So I definitely use that as my motivation to get up and get my grind on.
That's awesome. It's a good way to stay motivated. Keep looking at your peers and the people you look up to, and it's a great way to stay motivated.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us your socials and where we can find you? And
Juggie of NO, JUGGIEOFNO.
that's Juggie at 555-5569.
My phone number 5. Nah. But Juggie of NO on most platforms. You can find me. Go to Master P page. I'm in his bio. Shout out to my little brother, OG33. I'm in his bio. Just trying to
just Google Juggie.
I think another chapter. Elation and Lex Records. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, great. Well, thanks for coming on today, and appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for joining us on the Elation Podcast, where we find exhilarating euphoria through creation and collaboration.